Welcome to Coahoma Community College's Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning podcast. I am Dr. Aikyna McAfee, and today we have with us Dr. Aikyna Finch. Welcome, Dr. Finch.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity. I look forward to chatting with you today.
So today we are going to talk about coaching in the classroom. And before we get started, I want to tell our audience a bit about you, just a bit, because Dr. Finch, you have done so much. Dr. Finch is the co-author of 9 books. She launched her first solo project, Motivation Ignited, in November 2016 and compiled her first anthology project, Empowerpreneurs, in February 2020. She is a contributor for Huffington Post, Goldcast, Forbes, and Thrive Global. She has been interviewed and featured on Huffington Post, Hello Beautiful, Women Speakers Association, International Coach Federation, and many others. She has spoken on many platforms, including ICF Tennessee Chapter, Periscope Summit, Women in Leadership Summit, the Success Women Summit, the Business Blog Summit, and many more. She can be found where, Dr. Finch? Where can you be found?
I can be found on all social media handles at DRAD Finch. That's Dr. A.D. Finch.
Yes, Dr. Finch is also an educator. She received a doctorate of management, an MBA in technology management, and an executive MBA from Colorado Technical University. She has an MS in management and marketing and an MS in information systems and IT project management from Strayer University, and a BS in aeronautical technology and industrial electronics from the School of Engineering of Tennessee State University. Her certifications include Quality Matters, DEI, social media, coaching, and education. Just a little bit more, because I want the people to know about you, Dr. Finch. We're very happy to have you with us, and you've got some valuable information to give us today. You are a former campus and faculty dean that established enrollment records at 3 campuses. Your teaching disciplines include business, leadership, marketing, social media, and information systems at the graduate and undergraduate levels. You've published over 30 academic publications and presented on topics related to youth and adult education, social media, and job search. All right, so let's get started. All right, coaching in the classroom, changing the lives of students through situations. Can you speak to that? How can coaching change the lives of students in situations, in specific situations?
Well, that's a very good question. As we are bringing more coaching into the classrooms, students will present different things to you, and they will, their first inclination will be, well, I just need to drop the course, or I'm not understanding, or whatever. And most professors stop there, but no, we have to probe a little deeper. And once we figure out that, oh, they're just not understanding the content, or something's going on at the home, or something's going on at the job. And then once we figure out what the problem is, then we can coach them to the steps, letting them know about the Center for Teaching and Learning, if that's the case, or the Student Resource Center, or different websites that they could go to get the resources and helps that they need. And if it's beyond our level, we can then send them to resources that's in the university that will, or community college, that will help them get the help that they need. But we shouldn't just stop at surface level. And that's one of the things we learn in coaching, is that if we ask the probing questions, it will help them jog their memories and their thoughts to start thinking, hey, I don't have to just shut down, but there is another way to get these things done. And if I share and work through the process with my professor in this case, or with someone else, then I might get the help that I need instead of having that burden on my own.
So how can coaching help students see their problems or their challenges through a different lens?
So when we are teaching our students and they're giving us, oh, I just don't understand, I don't see, instead of us just saying, well, just go here to this link, or go here to that link, or it's on this page. Why don't we sit down with them, actually have the Zoom session with them, or the telephone call, and ask them about the process that they were going through. Sometimes they're just not going through the right process. Sometimes there is one step that they're missing. Sometimes there is, they're seeing the way that they studied uh, one way, and they always study that one way. But it requires them to use a new skill set in order to get this done. And if you listen to them and say, oh, well, if you use this process here, you might get this. Or have you tried? Better yet, don't just give them the answer. Say, have you tried this? Or have you thought about this? That way you put different lenses in front of them.
Right.
And you give them the opportunity to develop that skill, that mindset shift as well as the skill, so that they can see something from a different lens. And usually once they come up with that themselves, with a little questioning, they'll start incorporating that into their practices. And that's the main goal. I always tell my students, if the original isn't working, try the remix. And if they're stuck in the original, then a lot of times they give up. But if we point them in the direction or ask them questions to move them in the direction of the remix, you will be surprised at how mindset shifts, thought patterns, and results change.
Well, thinking or talking more about thought patterns, how does coaching help with a student's self-esteem?
This is one that I learned quickly as a dean. We only see a part of our students. And sometimes when we're virtually, we don't even see that part. We get that through their writing and their discussion questions and their assignments or their presentation. But what we don't know is they may have family members saying, why are you in school? How's that going to benefit you? You old as this, or you're doing that, or why is this? And I know it may sound facetious, but that might be what is being poured into them.
Yes.
We don't know that. We don't know that. But when they're reaching out for the help, we have to realize that they may be at their breaking point, and they're looking for you as the last result to keep them in that class. Okay. And so we can't just blow them off. No, we need to answer that question. If that's not working, then the next thing is get on the phone, get on the Zoom, have that meeting. Why? Because you never know. Asking for help could have been absolutely demeaning for them. They may have thought it was just absolutely horrible. They may have been feeling like, oh my goodness, I should get this. Why am I having to ask for help? But if you answer and then you support them and then you lead them into the right direction and then show them that, hey, you were just on the wrong page. You were just not reading this from a different lens. Or if you had just moved this one over here and made that a two, usually it's small things. But if we're not coaching them through it, if we're not connecting with them, then they're not going to get that. But that moment that you reach out, they know that, they always assume that you're the busiest person on the planet, right? And so when they know that you've taken your time to make sure that they are better, then that gives them a boost of self-esteem. And then to know that they're finishing those assignments in excellence going forward, that's a great self-esteem builder as well. And it all started with you being the coach. You sitting there taking the time, you asking the questions, and you being the guide to help them move into their next level of understanding. So that is one of the ways that it helps with self-esteem. And then also, it also helps with the self-awareness piece. As you're talking to them, if you're giving them the questioning, they start getting the light bulbs. Oh, I do that on a regular basis. Oh, I think of like that all the time. Oh, that is my go-to. What would happen if I did do this? And then they do it, and then they see results. Once again, self-esteem boosting. But it all starts with us getting past our screens or taking that extra time after class and pointing them in the right direction with probing questions and our active listening.
So we are talking about coaching in the classroom with Dr. Aikyna Finch. Dr. Finch, you have given us some really good information about coaching in the classroom as it relates to faculty or teachers and students. What about coaching for the faculty or the teacher? Is there a need for faculty and teachers to be coached?
I have spent the last 6 years of my life coaching faculty and leadership and staff. And so, yes, everyone can benefit from coaching, because the one thing about it is, in this case, they were learning how to become a coach. And part of that comes from the self-awareness piece. You learn more about yourself. You learn about your active listening skills. Sometimes we tune people out and we don't know we're consciously doing it. But once you pay attention in coaching, you realize that you have been blocking out a lot of things that you didn't know you were blocking out. Your ears will become more keen. Another thing is questions. A lot of times we come in and we want to be the savior. And we shift from being the savior, just giving them the answers, telling them where they want to go, moving them to the right direction so they can move on. No, sometimes we need to be the enhancer. And that's what coaching does. Counseling is saviors. Coaching is enhancers. And so what that means is you could tell them what to do if you're a counselor or if you are a mentor. You cannot tell them what to do as a coach. When you're a coach, you use the probing questions to move them forward. So even with you as a faculty member, wouldn't you appreciate if you were in the middle of an evaluation and they gave you a score, and instead of saying, oh, I gave it to you because of this, can you think of a reason why you received that score? What are your thoughts on that? Why would that be important? Because it brings self-awareness to what you're doing. And it also gives you the ability to be part of the scoring process. And then once you realize why you received that score and how you're seeing now, it also gives you ideas of how you can improve and be better, or how you can stay at that level. If it's a high score, wonderful, great. You still need to know. A lot of people don't even pay attention to the high score. Okay, I got a high score, moving on. No, you need to know why you got a high score, because that's behavior that you need to keep up. But if you don't have the coaching conversation, then you'll just keep going on. And then one day your evaluation changes and you're wondering what it is. You know, sometimes we get stagnant and we don't pay attention to it. So yes, we definitely need coaching as faculty because we are constantly growing. We pour into the students. And guess what? Then we need to be poured into so that we are not running on empty. And that's what coaching does. It gives us a fresh perspective to the information that is out there to teach. It gives us a need to go and find that additional research. It gives us a need to put more research into the atmosphere. It gives us a need to change it and be more creative. So yes, coaching can do a lot, especially for a teacher that's been doing the same thing over and over and over and not getting any different results. Try coaching, because being able to talk it out and flush it out, it'll do wonders for your students as well as your performance as well.
Excellent. What tips or final thoughts would you like to leave us with today?
I would say be the enhancer, not the savior. Get in and know your student. You'll be surprised with just, if you're in the classroom, giving them a smile and ask them how their day was. You may have been the only person that has cared about their day. You wouldn't know that. But then at the same turn, sitting after and answering those questions, looking at those facial expressions and making sure that you're paying attention to their wavelength, because a lot of communication is done non-verbally, but that takes your listening skills and your observation skills. And then listening behind the words. They say one thing and they mean another. So making sure that you're paying attention, and all those things you can learn and enhance through coaching.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aikyna Finch. We hope to talk with you again soon about your many upcoming endeavors that you are working on. Take care and thank you for joining us at Coahoma Community College.